Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Crit and Miss. Thank you for joining us. This is session 0 of our upcoming Star Wars 5th edition adventure, Reckless. I'm joined by some very good friends of mine, and tonight we're going to be introducing some players, as well as some characters, and have a little bit of something special planned at the end of the night as well. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce some very special people, the crew of the Reckless. Joining us tonight, we have a familiar face at Crit and Miss. If you've seen any of our previous streams, you would know who this person is. I am talking about, of course, the person over there, Grace. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I am fantabulous.
Fantabulous. There is that copyrighted introduction. You excited about you excited about a bit of D&D Star Wars crossover?
Always, every single minute. I am here for it. I love Star Wars and I love D&D, so it's nice to have them combine to create this love child that will be the Reckless.
Take two different worlds, mash them together, get a horrible DM, and see what happens. That's what we're doing tonight.
Yes.
And we are joined by another familiar face. If you've been watching the brand new Valiant Odyssey podcast spin-off, the Wasonia Files. I'm joined by the DM of the Valiant Odyssey, Aaron. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
It's going really good, Sven. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to play some Star Wars / Dungeons and Dragons, something I haven't done before, so it's good. Also, I'd like to point out that before we started, you said that you hate surprises, and then as soon as we went live, you said, I have a little surprise in store for these guys, and now I'm anxious, so thanks for that.
That's right. Really, it was just a sadistic attempt to find out if there's anyone else in the cast who hates surprises, so I could just rub it in their face. But well, no, it's not a surprise for you. It's a surprise for the viewers. You already know what we're going to be doing because I told you before the stream. It's for everyone else because they don't know anything about the crazy chaos that I've cooked up in the Critverse, as I like to call it. And we are joined by one of the Valiant Odyssey podcast cast members, Michael, who's right here below me. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining me.
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me. Very excited. Didn't even realize that I'm fairly new to D&D, and now there's a Star Wars D&D, so I'm pretty excited.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. So I think that's a good jumping off point. So what is Star Wars 5e? So at some point somewhere in the world, somewhere in the galaxy, someone decided, hey, I'm familiar with the D&D 5th edition rules, but I want to play in the Star Wars galaxy. So they started DMing that for some friends of theirs. And then they decided, hey, this is so much fun, we're going to do a whole campaign. And while they were playing, he transcribed everything into his notes, and then he transcribed the notes into what you see in front of you right now in the center of the screen. That is Star Wars 5e. And this is completely free, of course. So if you're watching this stream and you want to check it out for yourself, all you have to do is just head over to sw5e.com, and all of the resources that you need to play Star Wars 5th edition rule set is there for you. All the rule books, all the tools, all the assets are all there, and those are the rules and assets that we're going to be using for our Reckless stream, which is coming up this Friday on the 10th of June. So tonight we're going to be introducing characters, like I said, but before we do that, I like to start every single stream with a little bit of banter, because I know that's what people really come for. They pretend they like D&D, but that's not what they really like. They just like to hear us talking about stuff that they don't really care about. So tonight's question for you guys is going to be: the prequels and sequel series get a bit of a bad rap. Arguably justified bad rap. But I was watching this morning, at the request of my 3-year-old, a bit of the prequel era movies, and it sort of reminds you that there are parts of it that are actually quite good if you can take them in small doses. So my question to you guys is: what part of the prequel or sequel series movies do you actually quite like? All right.
Okay. So
who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You go first? There we go. What do you got for me?
Well, there's 148 lines in Attack of the Clones, the movie, and only 22 of them occur on a meme, and I just don't think that that's enough. We need to boost those numbers. Attack of the Clones is probably one of the better of the 3, I reckon.
Okay.
No. In my honest opinion, the 3rd one's pretty good, but I watched the crap out of all of them when I was a kid. I went to the cinema to watch The Phantom Menace, and pod racing was the coolest thing out. Like, if you take it into the Star Wars lore and you look at it, it was pretty much a useless sort of scene in there. It was just a way for, Anakin to become part of the old crew there of the Naboo shuttle. But that would never have happened if Watto just accepted the Republic credits like a boss. So.
Yeah, it's a redundant scene. It's really just there to show off not only the special effects and all, but also look, Anakin can has these crazy reaction speeds, and it must be Force related stuff. But it is actually a really well shot scene. If it was anything else, it would be just sheer enjoyment. Like the cinematography and the sound effects and all that kind of stuff are actually quite good. So.
For 2001, it's pretty darn good. Because I reckon some of it holds up today. So I reckon it's not so bad.
I feel like they blew their budget on that scene and had to cut back on rendering Jar Jar Binks' face.
Oh, yeah. Another hard thing for me to grasp was when I watched it for the first time in 2001 at the humble age of 11, I didn't see how that connected to episode 4 that I had seen and watched 1,000 times. I was like, this doesn't join up at all, because I didn't have the internet. I didn't know anything about them organizing a trilogy. Had no idea. So when it ended and Obi-Wan was just like, yep, I'll train you, Anakin, I was just like, are we getting any more of this or what? But yeah, I think the big battle of Naboo was a standout in number 1 as well. Though, every single prequel Star Wars movie has a signature sound effect, and I think the one for the Phantom Menace was weapons hitting that shield. The boom, 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 boom.
Yes. Yep.
I think we all know what the one in the Attack of the Clones is. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Good point. Oh, and on the point of the pod racing scene, it also spawned a fantastic video game. Have you ever played the game? Pod racer game?
Yes. Yeah, I had it on Nintendo 64. My brothers used to fight over the controller.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I played it on the PC when back in the days.
I played the first stage that many times, got master of it. But you got to unlock all the different characters and all the different pod races. I wish it had more customizable options though.
I'm pretty sure they sort of did a remaster, not like a full remaster, but just like a remaster, so you can play it again on the PC, because a lot of the times the older games, the systems become redundant and you can't play it. So you'd probably be able to check that out on Good Old Games. Anyway, let's race on to the next person. Who wants to go next?
I will.
There we go. We have our pilot. Put her hand up first. Grace, what do you got for me? What about the prequel or sequel era movies do you like?
So, I don't think the prequels are redeemable at all. Purely because I did discuss this with everyone before the stream started. I hate Jar Jar Binks a lot. I actually hate him so much. I find him so irritating that watching those movies, for me, Jar Jar Binks has just ruined it. Other than that small portion with that fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, other than I have the high ground, those movies are all ruined for me. But I will say, The newer ones, I like them better than the originals. I know that's really sacrilegious, but I'm a big Disney fan, and I think the minute Disney took over, it just got infinitely better. And everyone who watches me or Credit Miss knows I pretty much only play female characters, so it's really fantastic to see a nice, strong, independent female lead, like a few of them. I was like, yes, queen. And I thought the fight scenes were so well planned out. I'm like a big, I used to do like stage combat and all that stuff. So watching it was like, it was just really good. I just really like the new ones. I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Don't come for me.
No. It takes all sorts to make a world. If you like the sequel era movies, you like the sequel era movies. I accept you as you are. But you said you don't like Jar Jar Binks. That sort of ruined the prequel movies for you. But he's correct me if I'm wrong, but Jar Jar Binks isn't in episode 3, right? At all? Or if he is, then he's in there for a couple of seconds?
He's in there. He's the one that offers to give the Chancellor supreme powers.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
In the times of war.
So
which basically, like he fucked the entire galaxy because he gave the power to the Senator and then he never gave it back. So
yeah, and then you go down that dark rabbit hole where he's a Sith Lord and all that kind of garbage.
No. Shutting this down right now. Jar Jar Binks is not a Sith Lord. He's not. I see that argument. I see the whole, his eyes are like a different color, all the Siths have like orange eyes. I see that. Your thoughts are valid, but also, no.
Can you play a gun in this? Let's have a look.
You can.
You can?
Yeah, sorry, Grace, you're not going to like my character. No, I'm kidding, I'm not.
What? Okay, thank God, because I was about to,
If I rolled like a 10 or an 11 when I up there.
There you go.
When I was rolling my character, because I rolled my race off of just rolling a die. So if I got like a 12, you'd be looking at Jar Jar Valiant.
You'd have to change his name just slightly for copyright purposes. So it'd be like Jojo.
Raj Valiant.
Raj. Just take it the other way around.
Yeah.
But there you go.
I
Look.
find myself ejected from the pod bay doors.
You can play a Gungan. Is that bringing back bad memories? Looking at that screen, Grace, how does that make you feel? A bit uncomfortable?
I mean, uncomfortable would be putting it mildly. I just, from a special effects makeup artist point of view, I just think even it could have been done so much better practically. It just annoys me looking at it, and I'm like, you could have done so much more. And I think that's probably why Jar Jar Binks hurts me so deeply, because I'm like, you could have put someone in that and it could have been so much better, but instead you decided to slap a computer on it because it was the 80s. Agreed.
What, the 80s? That came out in like 2001 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, shows you how bad the CG for Jar Jar Binks is. Not great, and I agree entirely with you. It was just kind of that era where, CG was just starting to get to the point where you could use it more extensively, and unfortunately one of the side effects was that is sometimes it got used a little bit too extensively when it probably shouldn't. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was an experiment, and it showed other filmmakers what not to do. So there we go. We got one more person, Michael. Prequel and sequel era movies. What do you like about them?
Here we go.
Well, I think something that maybe ties into both the prequels and the sequels is I feel like sometimes you might watch a movie and you maybe resonate with a character and you feel like you don't know enough about them, or like how did they get to be where they are. So like Darth Vader as an example, with the whole prequel series, in the normal, like the first 3 movies that came out, he's already an adult, he's already the bad guy, all that sort of stuff, and you find out, but you don't know how he got to be that way. So I think I really like the prequels in the sense that it gives you the answers to all of those questions.
Okay.
And then same thing with the sequels. Again, it's almost like for say Luke Skywalker and some of those other characters, it's again another piece of the puzzle or the story where you might not have gotten all the answers you wanted or something like that they do touch on again. So it's almost like a closure in some sense, where I think there's plenty of different other franchises or movies out there where you don't quite get that, and maybe get frustrated with it. But yeah, I think Star Wars did it really well.
I think there's a different side to that coin though, because I feel sometimes that what you don't see can be, you can make it up in your own head, almost like D&D. You can sort of imagine the story that led to that point, and then sometimes when like a prequel movie comes out, it can lead to disappointment. And I think that's one of the big issues that you have with the prequel movies, especially, is that people were a little bit disappointed because it didn't quite match what they had in their headcanon, even though, like I said, some of it's good quality. The overarching story is not too bad. It was a little bit, it floundered a little bit in its deliverance. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of people, and some people do like to see those stories filled in, and other people don't like to see those stories filled in. To each their own, I guess.
Well said.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes, as it were, of tonight's stream, or should I say, meat and green milk of tonight's stream. And that is, let's introduce. Oh, is it blue milk? It's blue milk, isn't it? Let's introduce some characters, because that's what people came to see tonight, and that's what I'm going to give them. So, who wants to go first? Because I've allowed the players to sort of, in the last couple of weeks, just to make their own characters. I have a little bit of an idea of what they're going to be playing. I don't really have much of an idea of backstory or anything like that. So we're going to look at the mechanics together. We're going to talk about the backstory. We're going to go through each of the characters, and then at the end, I want to talk a little bit about how these three characters came together as a crew aboard a ship. Okay, so keep that in mind, and at the end we'll just sort of we'll talk it out, and we'll see where we end up. So I'm going to take the reins. I want the pilot to go first. Grace, let's talk about your character, because I feel like I've seen this character sort of before. Is that right? No. I'm getting. What was your character in Amongst Shadows and Stone? What was her name again?
Oh, Thistle.
Thistle!
The moonbeaming druid. I see. Okay. I can see the connection now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, I guess...
Let's start
Sally,
off with what race is your character? We'll have a look at that first.
So she is a human.
She's a human. Ew.
Yes.
Okay.
I just really sort of I don't know, I just thought in a universe where there are all these crazy funky creatures, I just thought being the Han Solo of the party would be entertaining. But I'm not really the Han Solo of the party, I'd say. But yeah, I just thought some of the buffs were interesting. I mean, I get a guidance that I can give out just because I'm annoying. It's literally called oh god, I wrote it down. It's called Defiant. So just because I'm a human and humans are known for being stubborn, I can just give out guidance. I can just give people a 1d4. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, so just looking at that now. So as a human, you get an ability score increase by 2, and 2 other ability scores increased by 1. Or alternatively, 4 abilities of your choice each increased by 1. So do you remember what you chose for those, or?
Oh, I think I actually chose. I think I put it into Dex, Intelligence, Charisma, and Con.
Okay. All right. Dex, intelligence,
Yeah.
charisma, and con. So we're looking at
And
someone.
Strength is sort of my dump stat.
All right. So not a strong person.
No.
And your base walking speed is 30 feet. Yep. So I'm looking at that skill now. So humans are known to be stubborn and often refuse to give up, even against the worst odds. When you or a creature you can see that can understand you makes an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, you can roll a d4 and add it to their roll. Bit like guidance sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can use this before or after the roll, but before the GM determines the roll's outcome. So that's pretty cool. That's I've never heard anything less accurate though than humans refusing to give up, because I see humans giving up on a daily basis. So,
I mean, yeah.
I give up
agree with that.
at about 6:30 every morning when my
Day.
child comes in asking to watch TV and slapping biscuits on my face. I give up. And you also gain proficiency in one skill, tool, and one weapon of your choice. So, any idea what you chose for those?
Flying. So I chose flying as my
Okay.
proficiency, so that because I'm an engineer,
Yep.
I get to pick. Because I'm a pirate, I get to pick flying as my proficiency. So now I am an expert in flying.
And that'll bring
Yeah,
us to
'cause it doubles.
your class. What class did you choose?
I'm an engineer.
An engineer. You did say that. So
Yes.
you are an engineer. You are unflappable, apparently.
Yes.
And I did. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I did say that the players are going to be starting at level 3. So at level 3, you get a +2 proficiency bonus. That goes for everyone. And you get a couple of cool things. Is there anything about that specifically that you want or that you feel everyone should know about, so I don't have to go through everything?
I just thought it was really cool because I guess the engineers sort of reminded me a little bit of the sorcerers of very similar to D&D.
Yep.
So I get this really cool thing called tech casting. So I get to cast spells, which is really funky. But I've actually, to make it really easy for myself, just picked cantrips. Basically. So they're all at will, which makes it really super easy for everyone.
All right.
But I just thought it was super funky that, I could sort of just, and I've picked some really awesome things, like there's a cantrip I have where I can just turn things on and off from a distance. Or I can, fix small gaps in walls or expand large gaps. I can cause things to short circuit. I've even got this thing where I make a range attack and things light on fire. So I just thought it was sort of like a really cool sort of mechanic to have, I guess.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was one of the things that I need to dig in a little bit, is the tech casting and how that sort of all functions. I'm going to be relying on you guys a little bit to sort of keep me honest. But hey, this is a one shot, so if you make a mistake, no big deal. I'm sure there'll be someone in the chat who can let me
Don't
know
tell Dad.
how much of an idiot I am. Feel free to do that at any point, guys. I have a thick skin. All right, so we have a human engineer.
Yes.
Now we have to choose a deployment for you. I think we've already chosen yours, haven't we?
Yes. I am the pilot.
You are the pilot. So the pilot controls the
I
movements
am the pilot.
and tactics of the ship. So that sort of gives away the surprise that I was talking about earlier, because I am giving the players to start off this adventure. You're going to be having a medium ship.
We're getting a
at
ship, guys.
Tier 1. That is the surprise.
Woo!
There is a ship. That's why this stream is called Reckless, because the name of your ship is the Reckless. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And the pilot of the Reckless is this human engineer. And what's her name?
Her name is Sally.
Sally.
Sally Everett, like Everdeen, but without the arrows. Yes.
Okay.
That's her.
And let's have a look. Piloting procedure, first rank, you learn tactics. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there that we could dig into. We're not going to dig in too much of it tonight because we do have a few plays to get through. But long story short, as the pilot, basically you're going to be rolling initiative, and you're going to be choosing, the course of the ship. Especially if it comes down to combat. It's a pretty important sort of role because whether or not the other players, if anyone chooses to be a gunner or anything like that, it's kind of up to you whether or not you can line up those shots. And there's a whole host of other things that you sort of have to keep in mind as well. What are we looking at? Deployments. You get a venture as well, but like I said, we don't have to look at that too much. Tactics. You learn 2 tactics of your choice, which are detailed under tactics below. So you're just going to be a first rank in your deployment. So you've got to pick 2 tactics. Let's choose those right now. What tactics are you going to be choosing?
I don't have them up in front of me.
You don't have them up in front of you?
I will have to have a look.
Okay.
Sorry.
If you
My
want,
Wi-Fi's
we
been
we can come back around to that if you want to have a quick look and see what sort of piques your interest. If we can't really make a decision now, that's all good because we still have another week to sort of fine-tune the details, and it might be that you pick one and later on you go, maybe that's not going to be so useful, or it doesn't mesh well with the other deployments that the other players choose, and you might want to switch it around. That's all good. So
can I just point out as well, there's one in here, there's like a second rank one that's called I'll Try Spinning, and then there's a 4th rank one that says That's a Good Trick, which is like an Anakin Skywalker line. And I thought that was really cool.
Okay, I really...
I'll try spinning. That's a good
trick. You can't tell me stuff like that and expect me to like...
Nice.
We can't have them though because we're only rank 1.
Yes. To keep things simple, I had to just sort of,
No, that's fair. That's
restrict
fair.
the rank 100%. A little bit because I'm already having regular nose and ear bleeds just thinking about how I'm going to run this one-shot adventure. That is your deployment sort of sorted in a nutshell. Yeah. Let's talk about your character's background. Let's talk about Sally Everett. Let's find out what's she all about. How did she end up as the pilot of a medium ship called the Reckless?
Okay, so Sally is like the daughter of this big shipbuilding empire, right? And she decides, hey, why not? I'm gonna go to engineer school. So she's gone to engineer school and she's like this close to finishing. And then one day she sort of like decides she wants to make some money for herself. So she actually gets like into galactic Uber, sort of something similar to that. And she's like waiting on the dock for her passengers to arrive when all of a sudden these random people get in her ship and are like, drive. So she's driving and then she's actually realizes she's really good at flying. And these people just keep coming back to her. And she's making bank, like serious bank. And then she realizes these people are smuggling illegal parts and they have not told her anything. So for like months, she's been smuggling illegal parts and has become a very good getaway driver. But she had absolutely no idea. And she has been successfully smuggling illegal parts from her father's business right under her own nose. So she sort of oopsied her way into a life of piracy. Yeah, and she now has, and she sort of like got out of it, so she left. She was like, I don't need this in my life, bad vibes. And she left and she got out of it. But now she's got this ginormous bounty on her head because obviously they know she knows and she knows too much. And so now this like heiress is just trying to figure out what her place in the universe is, because now that she's like, damn, I'm a really good pilot and I wasn't really liking what I was doing before, now I want to just like do my own thing. I don't want to own a ship company. I want to like chill the galaxy, flying planes. Why not?
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's pretty much it.
I like it. What about personality-wise? Is she a likable type person? Is she gruff? Is she aggressive? Is she what are we gonna see?
She is a cinnamon roll.
Okay.
I literally put on my personality traits: people person, way too enthusiastic about her job, a total workaholic, and a complete airhead and total cinnamon roll. Like, even in the group chat, everyone was saying, like, oh, you're the pilot, you should be the captain. And I was like, there's no way she'd want to be the captain.
Not necessarily. The pilot is not always the captain. What do they used to call it? They call it a helmsman back in the days. You were in control of the ship, but you definitely weren't the captain. So, no, I like it.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that meshes with the rest of the characters, because I've had a quick look, and there's going to be a bit of a contrast here. So I'm very interested. I think the most fun part of tonight's stream is going to be finding out or working out together how these characters sort of came to be in the same place at the same time. I already have an idea about how the adventure starts, but I have to figure out how did you guys end up there. So, is there anything that we missed? We got your background. You choose an archetype as well, don't you? If I am correct. So, did you pick an archetype for your engineer? Do you remember?
I did not. I did not know that I could do that. It didn't say I could do that when I was building it. I might need to go back and have a look at it, but it might have been repairsman. I feel like that's drawing up some things, but yeah, I didn't pick an archetype.
Or is that a later thing? It's not coming up on the table here. I might have to have another look at that. I thought that you did get archetypes, but maybe not. No problem at all. All right, cool. And we'll have a bit of a look at sort of, you know, your tech skills and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to start off with either a simple vibro weapon, a simple blaster, and 2 power cells. So do you remember which one of those 2 that you chose? A weapon? I'm assuming a blaster for this character.
I have not picked literally anything, because I wasn't sure what we were doing with weapons.
Right.
I will pick a blaster though, just because she is a very squishy range character.
I feel that's probably the best way to go. Yep.
Blaster, yeah.
All right, chuck that in there. Whatever pack you choose, it's not really that important for a one-shot. A combat suit, a set of Tinker's implements, a vibro dagger, and a wrist pad. Cool. Great. I think that sort of rounds out your character just briefly, so that everyone has a bit of an idea of what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next character. Who wants to go next? Michael, Aaron? Aaron, looks like you've been
I can do it.
volunteered.
Voluntold. I've been voluntold. Hello, everybody. I'm Aaron, aka Valiant, and I have chosen to play a character whose name is Volt Doran. Volt Doran is a Lasat.
Alright, let's have a look at Volt Doran at Lasat. Okay, so species.
Anybody know what a Lasat is?
I believe I may have seen one of these in, what is it, Star Wars Clone Wars or something? Or Rebels or something? Is that
Rebels,
right?
yeah.
Rebels, yeah.
I rolled for this one, and I got like whatever it came out. I think it was like 78th or whatever he was. But I was very happy when it came out because they look freaking cool. The Lasat is it's a very honorable race. They're usually quite strong, and they're based primarily on their combat prowess. Their structure and society is based highly on their combat prowess. However, not my guy. they kind of find themselves in a bit of a precarious situation. Most of them are very not too fond of the Empire, basically because they've gone through their homeworld, which was in the Outer Wilds, and the Outer Wilds was ravaged, and they eventually made a new homeworld on Lysaria, I think it was called, something like that. What was it called? The homeworld.
Yeah, Lyra-san.
Yeah, that was the one that was ravaged, and then they made a new homeworld in the Outer Rim called the Lasan homeworld. It was just called Lasan.
Very creative.
Yeah, and then that is where most modern-day Lasat sort of resided until the Empire came and stripped the world and basically almost made the Lestat extinct. So it's very rare to see one around these parts anymore. So that's the Lestat race. And if you've played Jedi Fallen Order, Jaro Tapal was the Jedi version of the Lestat, and Zeb was the Lestat from Star Wars Rebels. So made famous by those two individuals.
I'm only really familiar with that because of the kids' books that I read to them at nighttime sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like Star Wars Rebels books. I've never watched.
Well, now when you read that, you'll read that now and you'll look and you say, "That's Aaron's character."
That's like that's him.
Cat in a Hat, but it's Lestat.
Yeah, Aaron's Lestat. Cat in a Hat.
All right, so let's look at Lestat traits. So what do we get? Your strength score increases by 2. Your charisma score increases by 1. Blah blah blah. Age is not important. Alignment not overly important. Size, you're 7 feet tall, averaging 7 feet tall, and weighing over 200 pounds.
Yep, I am about 200 pounds, and I'm short for a Lestat, so I'm 6'6" or 6'5".
6'6", okay.
Yeah, I'm a runt.
So you're not going to be hitting your head on the
bulkhead door?
On the bulkhead as you're walking through.
Yeah. I get bow rifle training, which is a traditional weapon for the Lestat Honor Guard, which canonically for my character, his father was a part of the Lestat Honor Guard and was very highly praised throughout their culture. He has his weapon, but he doesn't know how to use it because he was trained, as all youngsters are in Lestat culture, but he would use it as a kid uses a stick, basically. He was basically a disappointment to his father because he didn't grow up having the natural prowess of a Lestat. He was good at other things. So I do have bow rifle training, and I do have one, but it's more ceremonial and like a... I kind of have it like as a memento of my parents, who I don't know if they survived the culling. So I have his weapon, but I can't use it.
All right, fair enough. And like, just for people who aren't as familiar with Star Wars lore, a bow rifle. What are we talking about? What's that look like?
Okay, so a bow rifle it's basically, it looks like a gun, but on either side of the gun there's like 2 edged battens, which they can use as either a melee sort of bow staff attacking and defending weapon, but it also versatile turns into a long range rifle, so it does both.
All right,
but I don't know how to use it, so
cool. Awesome. So that's your species sort of in a nutshell. And let's talk about class. What class did you pick for? What was their name again?
Vault.
Write that down.
He's also got dark vision. He's got, like, I have this thing called keen hearing and sight, so I get advantage on perception checks, which is pretty cool because I can see in the dark. And yeah, he's supposed to be strong, but he's not. But you said the class, right?
Yeah. So what class is Vault?
He is a operative, which is essentially this Star Wars 5e's version of a rogue, I guess you could say.
All right, let's have a look at operative.
So the operative gets some sneak attack, but there is a very useful and fun thing that you can do with the sneak attack as well. You can forego your sneak attack damage to do maneuvers, which comes from the fighters from 5e. So instead of me rolling the damage for the sneak attack, I can use my sneak attack dice to do different sorts of abilities. like
And you had to pick those, didn't you?
I get it as part of my background, which I chose a ruffian for. It's called a practice.
Okay.
I got a ruffian. I chose ruffian because he's kind of like a bit of a scoundrel.
Okay.
And as part of that, it's an ability called Nimble Step, and he can forego his sneak attack to do like a blade defense where he increases his AC, or he does a disarming strike, which makes people drop weapons, or fancy footwork, which increases my movement speed. So this class is kind of like a cross between your swashbuckler and your rogue, and almost like a battle master fighter. So there's a lot going on with this one, but no tech spells, which is what I was happy about too. So
Didn't want to remember that stuff.
he does have cunning action as well. So bonus actions are going to be dope for Old Vault, being able to dash, disengage, or hide.
Yep.
And he's able to use an ability called Bad Feeling, which allows me to take a movement action whilst initiative is being rolled, basically, so I can get the fuck out of there.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you can get something similar with your pilot deployment as well. So as soon as we roll initiative, you can take a movement action before initiative order has actually started. So that's a pretty cool little skill, because it allows you to sort of place yourself in a better position before the combat actually starts. Somewhere, for example, you can get right up into melee range if someone's close enough to you, or you can move somewhere to hide. It's a bit of fun. So you get that at 3rd level. Anything else you get at 3rd level? Operative practice. You choose a practice that you emulate in the exercise of your operative abilities, detailed at the end of the class description.
So that was my ruffian that I chose.
Aha. Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Operative practices. We have a whole list of archetypes,
different,
and different practices and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And I think we touched on what your background is. That you chose. What was it again?
So the operative ruffian was the background that I chose, and for that, I was able to get an ability called Silver Tongued, and allows me to make a deception check in combat, and as a result of that, I don't provoke opportunity attacks if I'm successful. So he's that kind of plays into his character a little bit, because even though his culture is big on, or from what he remembers from his culture, he's a fairly young Lestat. He's about 21, 22 years old. Lestat's maturing just like people do. He basically has relied on his wiles to keep him alive for as long as he's been around. His primary stat is his dexterity, being a shorter Lestat, and then it's charisma after that, and his intelligence slowly or shortly following. So strength and constitution and wisdom aren't his thing, but usually Lestats are very strong and have a higher constitution, but not him, and that's sort of partly because of his backstory, which we'll go into a little bit later. With this one as well, with the operative, they also let you get your expertise. They call it something different, but it's pretty much the same thing, and I've chosen mine for tech and insight for the expertise.
Okay.
So being able to read people and also fixing the ship.
So this is like a bit of a excuse me, wily sort of character. Sort of has I get a feeling that they've had to sort of make their own way through the galaxy. So they've learned how to talk themselves into and out of bad situations.
Yep, and he's definitely done a lot of that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about your deployment. What are you thinking for your deployment? So, coordinator, gunner, mechanic, operator, pilot, or technician?
I am the mechanic.
You are the mechanic.
Yep. So I was looking at it before, and there's I get Venture and System Boost, and System Boost allows you to do quite a few cool things. It gives you tech dice, which you're able to use to do creative thinking, but later on with your techniques, you can maneuver power in the ship from the capacitors to the shields or the engine to increase speeds, or, as I said, the shields to increase your defense, or to the weapons to deal extra damage. So you can also do it to the sensors to try and pick things up that aren't showing up on the scanners. So I kind of like the versatility of the mechanic, and also plays into I wanted him to be able to fix the ship, basically, because he doesn't fly it, but the reason he's on the Reckless we can get into later, but he's very fond of the ship, and he likes to be able to take care of it, so he learned how to fix it.
Okay.
And it's kind of how he earned his dinner, so
Cool. I like it very much. So we have a pilot, we have a technician, or a mechanic rather. Let's talk a little bit about Volt's, backstory.
okay.
We've touched a little bit on it already, but let's learn a little bit more.
Okay, so the background I did pick was the gambler, by the way. So, so that kind of does sort of phase into his backstory. So he's a very risk-taking, I guess you could say, Lasat. He has a lot of money problems in his adult life because he's borrowed too much and not given enough back. Yeah. He feels like that he tries unpredictable things because no one can really know when he's bluffing if he just tries all these unpredictable things all the time. So he's kind of got that facade and that wall up that he can do a lot of different things really, really well, but whether he can or not, it's up to people to decide. He has this strong belief that if the risk and the stakes are low, then it's not really worth doing. He's kind of like a live in the moment kind of guy, but also sort of I wouldn't say he has a death wish, but his whole planet has been decimated by the Empire, which he has no love for. He's got no family to speak of, and he feels like he's alone in his race. So him just existing to him is just a miracle. So he's going to push that boundary as far as it can go and just see what he can basically come up with in his life. Like he does owe people a lot of money. Whether he pays that back to them or not will depend on how hard they squeeze his neck, and whether they can catch him. So with that being said, this occurred to him because, as I said before, their home planet of Lasan was ravaged. He spent a lot of time in his early teens, so let's say 11, 12, 13, on the streets of another planet where he was picked up by an older pilot, you could say. And I haven't actually run this by the crew yet, but I was thinking that maybe he could have been the previous owner of the Reckless, who adopted me, took me in, taught me to fix it, and then he has now passed on, and the ship remains with us, and that's why I'm able to fix it so well. And that being said as well, perhaps I took on some of whether the ship has a good or a bad reputation, I've kind of taken that on and either tarnished it, or I feel like I do more like smuggling and villainy sort of runs than maybe rebellious ones.
I can already see some threads starting to come together with just these two characters' backstories. So Grace, for your character, I have it written down here again somewhere. Oh, Sally. So Sally Everett. So you were sort of, for all intents and purposes, sort of got into smuggling, sort of by accident, as it were. Perhaps.
Yeah.
The previous captain of the Reckless was one of the people who sort of used you as a pilot, unbeknownst to you. So that could be a way that that Sally Everett was sort of brought into this whole deal. And when your previous mentor Volt passed away, you know, you needed a new pilot. You knew Sally.
Yeah.
Hey, let's put two and two together. Sort of, Sally, you were looking for a way to make your own way in life. Volt, you had inherited the ship from your previous mentor. You didn't know
Which
how
I'm
to
unable
pilot
to
the
fly.
thing. Yeah. Put two and two together, and what do we got? We have the beginnings of a crew, but we don't have a crew with only two people. We need at least three people to round out the crew of a medium-sized starship, and I don't think we have enough muscle just yet. If you're going to be doing smuggling, you need a thug standing at your side to stare down danger. And I think that's where the third character comes into play. Now, I told the players, make a character, go ahead. I've sort of used Firefly as a little bit of inspiration for the way I designed this adventure, and I let the guys know. So when this final character got dropped in front of me, I was like, holy crap, like, how am I going to make this work? It was just completely left field, but
That's what
I
he did
like
to me with his druid too, man.
I
He has a
want,
habit of it.
like, one of the big things is allowing players to choose and to play the things that they think are going to be fun. So I'm not going to be like, no, that doesn't fit with the rest of the crew. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Bring that absolutely nuts character to the party, and let's see how we make it work, because that's what tabletop role playing games are all about. It's about taking this wild, chaotic brew and mixing it all together. So with that, why don't you introduce your character, Michael? Let's start with a character name. What are they called?
His name is Bar Dumcha. When you say it really fast, it sounds like Badumch.
Badumcha. I like it.
Exactly so. But he is a Sith from the planet Korriban. With his name, though, a lot of the Sith, I guess, part of their race is their name can change based on some of the feats or acts or things that they accomplish in their lifetime. So it's just Bar for now, but that's kind of part of his. What he's looking for that title, I guess.
He's looking for the Dumcha.
Exactly.
So for those less familiar with Star Wars sort of expanded lore or expanded canon, Korriban is the native homeworld of the Sith race. A lot of people don't know that about the Sith, that the Sith aren't just an organization, they're actually a race. Is that strike true?
Yeah, definitely. So with that, it's I guess interesting for him. He's not necessarily the typical, it's a Sith Lord, he's crazy evil, wants to kill everyone, that sort of thing, but kind of does still, but he doesn't know any better because that's how he was brought up. So he's been brought up like that. He's knows a little bit about the Force, something through his race, his family, his planet, and then from there he's just gotten to that age where it's his time to become his own person, and he wants to get out there and conquer and get that name for himself. So he might not. He's about, I guess, wants that honor for his family, whether that's destroys a planet or just does something cool, with friends that he makes or whatever. He's definitely a smart person. He doesn't want to, just kill every single person he sees. However, he's going to accomplish making a name for himself or doing his family and his race proud. He understands that he might not necessarily have to kill every single person because that will end badly for him. It's how he sort of gets there to that point. So,
all right. So someone who's a little bit more morally ambiguous, as
definitely.
it were. So let's look at some of the traits of a Sith. So first of all, skin color, black or red?
Red.
Black, red. Right. So red. Hair color.
Anything you ask me, it's going to be red.
It's all red. Red. Okay, that makes things makes things easy. So the thing that I really want to look at. Do you have a tentacle facial appendage?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Got a couple
All right, awesome.
Couple tentacles.
It's me.
Thinking,
Say that in my good ear.
a couple tentacles. Thinking Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean style.
We're talking full-on Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's awesome. That's one of the best lines that I've read today. Tentacle facial appendage, or just facial appendages, is pretty funny. All right, Sith pure blood traits. Ability score increase. So charisma score increases by 2, and your strength or dex by 1. Did you go with strength or dex?
Strength.
Strength by 1.
Man.
Filling out the roles pretty well here. It's almost like you guys planned this. Sith generally
We made a
stand
private
between...
group chat without you in it? No.
No, absolutely
no,
not.
not at all.
No player would ever do that. 5 or 6
Definitely
feet
wasn't
tall.
Grace's idea.
Excuse me?
Wow, thrown under the bus. Thrown under the bus by your engineer.
I've known you
What am
guys
I-
for like 2 minutes.
Now you really know us.
Well, I mean, this whole stream is about getting to know characters as well as the players. So if you have any more dirty laundry that you need to air, now's the time to do it. All right, so you stand between 5 to 6 feet tall, weighing less than 200 pounds. Base walking speed of 30 feet. You have dark vision. You are force sensitive. You know the denounce at will force power. What is denounce at will? What is that?
So when you reach third level as well, Denounce turns into Curse as well. So he's got Denounce and Curse. So yeah, basically just hurting people, and he's all for that.
You are menacing, so you have proficiency in the intimidation skill, and you are sadistic, so you have proficiency in saber whips, vibro whips, and nets. I'm getting a little bit of a theme going on here. Do you also wear dark leather with metal studs?
Safe word is keep going.
Alright, so you read and write Galactic Basic and Sith and so on and so forth. Let's talk about class. What did you choose for your class?
Yep, so he's a Guardian, and they can either be a Protector or Destroyer. Obviously he's a Destroyer.
He is a Guardian, Protector or Destroyer. So he is a Destroyer, an unstoppable agent of the Force. The Guardian channels power flowing through him into his weapons. Their skills with the lightsaber are unrivaled, subduing their enemies and bolstering their allies. Natural leaders, so on and so forth. So a little bit of a rundown on what a Guardian is. So I'm thinking a melee type half spellcaster, something like that.
Yeah, I would think more like if you're thinking about D&D 5e, more like a cleric, because then they're kind of beefy. They can use weapons, but then they also get access to spells or force powers with the Star Wars 5e.
All right. So let's have a look. So you get forecasting, channel. So you know what the weather is? Is that what forecasting is? You can know if it's going to be, overcast. Channel the Force empowered strikes, fighting style. At third level, you get Guardian Aura and Guardian Focus. You have a hit dice of a D10. You are proficient in light and medium armor, all weapons, and all vibro weapons. You are proficient in Constitution and Charisma saving throws. Skills, choose 2 from the following list. Which ones did you choose?
For his spells or force powers?
For skills, so acrobatics, athletics, deceptions, insight, so on and so forth. You remember?
Yep, it was athletics and might be insight.
Athletics and insight, good stuff. All right, equipment. Choice between mesh armor or a combat suit and a light physical shield.
Mesh armor.
Mesh armor and a light weapon or vibro weapon And a light
Lightsaber.
medium physical shield.
And a medium shield.
Okay. Pack doesn't really matter. Forecasting. Let's see what that actually is. In your meditations of the Force, you have learned powers, fragments of knowledge that imbue with an abiding Force ability. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's. I'll hand it over to you. What abilities and stuff do you think are the most interesting about your character? We'll have a look at those.
Yeah, well, obviously, with the Star Wars 5e, you can have like the light side force powers, dark side force powers, and universal ones, or ones that everyone can use.
Yep.
For him being a Sith, it's all dark force powers, so he doesn't have access to any of the light ones. So, yeah, a lot of that is stuff that hurts people in different ways. Whether it's damaging them, or like it's a lot of necrotic type damage. And some that go hand in hand with his lightsaber attacks as well, so like lightsaber throw and a few things like that, so it'd be pretty fun.
So you know how to channel the Force, create unique effects. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get into everything here. So you choose some Force abilities. Well, you know what? Keep that under your hat until we actually start the adventure, because I want to be surprised by the things that you do. So we won't dig too much into that.
I can't wait to see you at the end of a bulkhead corridor and just see that red lightsaber light up and just...
Yes.
Me and Grace will be behind the door. Just wait until it's all over.
What's happening again?
Just playing some cards while you can hear the Wilhelm screams echoing
outside
down the hallway.
Sparks go through. One of us just says rummy.
I can go into then, so like some of his fighting styles then, and that sort of without going into too much of the spells.
Yep.
So he's got the Sentinel fighting style, which is I think a level 2 feature, and that is you get opportunity attacks when someone comes into your space, not when they try and leave your space. So that's a handy one, as a reaction. So, and then you get a Guardian aura as well, and he's got the aura of hatred, which gives anyone teammates near me bonus damage to my charisma modifier.
So yeah, you gain an aura of your choice as detailed at the end of the class description. Yep, cool. And Guardian 3rd level, Guardian Focus. You begin to focus your studies on a specific lightsaber form, which is detailed at the end of the class description. Do you remember which lightsaber form you chose?
Yes, I've got 2. One for being a Sith, with the class feature I've got, and also the Guardian. So I've got the Makashi form and also the Tricata form. So the Makashi form is kind of like one of the fighter subclasses, where I can was the first one. Bear with me. It is bonus action, defensive stance for 1 minute, and I add my charisma modifier to first weapon attack damage rolls each turn.
Your first melee attack and damage rolls you make on each turn. That's pretty good. Add your wisdom or charisma modifier. Oh yeah, not too bad. And I'm assuming that's going to be your charisma modifier, because you have a bump to your charisma. Cool. And you gain the following Force option: Makashi Riposte. That's 3rd level. When another creature damages you with a melee attack, you can expend the use of your channel the Force and use your reaction to attempt to deflect the attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier. That's not too bad. That's going to be good. So I'm getting a bit of a melee sort of combatant here. So that's the Makashi form. What was the other one that you chose?
The Tricata lightsaber form. So that one there is 2 things again. So first one is bonus action. I can enter a confusing stance for a minute, and as part of that, a bonus action, I can take the dodge action, and when I dodge, I can make 1 melee weapon attack. And then the second part of that is unbalancing block, and it's when I'm hit with a melee weapon attack. If I'm holding a light weapon that I'm proficient in, I can use my reaction to expend a channel of the Force to add my charisma modifier to my AC for that attack to make it potentially miss.
All right. So it's it looks like a pretty good use of like the sort of like the action economy in 5e. You're looking to use your reaction, your bonus action, and all that kind of stuff. That's smart. Smart. Alrighty. Let's talk a little bit about your background. What did you choose for your background? Start to look at who Bar Dumchar was it? Sorry, I wrote this down poorly.
Yeah, just bar's fine.
Yeah.
BD, bar, whatever.
What background
BD, get that BD.
did you choose for Bar?
Background. I think it's all just part of the Sith. So for him with his background, I can go more into how he ended up with the crew, I guess.
Yep.
So
talk about that.
Yeah. So it was growing up. Sort of, he's still a bit younger, so he's in his teenage years. But I think they mature early with the Sith anyway. So it was time for him to sort of go out, earn his name, go on his adventure. Family gave him the lightsaber and taught him a little bit in the ways of the Force, that sort of thing. So off he went, and he just happened to be, I guess, almost a right sort of place, right time when he comes across Aaron's character and overhears that he's in a bit of trouble. And I think Aaron approaches him, and obviously money troubles, but that's not necessarily what Bar's about. He promises him the experience of being able to hurt or potentially do anything he wants to earn that sort of title, his name, whether that's go on an adventure, kill a bunch of people, have a bit of fun like that. So he's decided to come on as a bit of muscle to help him out, but for his own purposes, to get his name.
All right,
we heard free and we were like, okay.
Yay!
So you're working.
New friend.
Well, is it a three-way cut of the income, or are you working for free? What's the go? Are you doing it for the love, or?
Yeah, he's not in it for the money at all. So obviously, he'd be wanting enough so he could survive, but he's not there for the money. He's just out for the title. So he understands that he definitely is very happy to kill anyone and everyone that gets in his way. But he gets that, if he kills the people who are obviously flying the ship and he can't fly a ship, well, that's not going to get him very far. So he's happy to be level.
So
loyalty by usefulness.
Yeah, this opportunity to become a crew member of the Reckless sort of it expands your horizons, your possibilities. So you can sort of tag along with this crew, and they're going to give you opportunities to do what you want to do, and that is crack skulls. So it's a bit of it's a relationship built on mutual sort of productivity, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. I think he fits in well because, like being Sith, not everyone's a big fan of them. Some, definitely want to distance themselves or try and take them on. So being on a ship, moving a lot, we're looking at smuggle runs, that sort of thing. It's kind of a good place for him to sort of almost stay under the radar a little bit from those that might be sort of looking out for him.
Perfect. So you were in the right place at the right time, and of course, when we're talking about the Force, there are no coincidences. So maybe there's more to why you guys are together, and maybe you don't even realize what that is, because sometimes you need bad people to do the things that the good people can't do. So maybe you're all unwilling pawns of a greater purpose. Who knows? I guess we'll find out together. What role does Bar fulfill on the Reckless? Because you have to make yourself useful when you're traveling from point A to point B. So how does Bar do that?
He will be the gunner. Surprise.
Look at that. Controls one or more weapon emplacements. So beginning when you choose this deployment as your speciality at first rank, you can choose a venture. So what venture did you choose?
We've got the his gunner techniques, so gambits basically they're called. So which is when using weapons, you what you call it, similar to, I guess you could almost liken it for understanding as the fighters swashbuckler techniques, where you've got like crippling shot or disabling shot, that sort of thing.
But on a sort of grander scale, on a ship-based scale, and I can almost see this. I can almost see this guy with a bit of a half smile on his face as he's sitting in the gunner seat, blasting hapless victims. There'll
definitely be little etching in the side, racking off those kills up in the net.
All right, awesome. Remind me about that, because I want to know how many little scratches are on there when we start the adventure. All right, and I think the last thing that we sort of have to know, we've sort of covered everything for your character, haven't we? That sort of wraps everything up, apart from all the really nitty-gritty details like what force powers you have and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of it brings it out to a nice rounded character. Is everyone happy with that sort of backstory about how you guys came to be on the Reckless? Is there anything that you want to add, or some details you want to fill in before we go on a break?
So I did end up picking out tactics for the ship. So I just picked some really nice and simple ones. So I did not pick anything crazy. Unlike what I usually do. So I've picked target acquired and cryogen turn. So target acquired, as a bonus action, you can expend a power dice and hone in on the target you can see. The next attack roll made by your ship has advantage. If the attack roll hits, add the results of the dice to the attack roll, to the damage. Then I also have the maneuver one, the cryogen turn. So when you are the target of an attack roll, you can expend a power dice and attempt to maneuver out of the line of fire. Roll the dice, take the result times 50. You immediately move that many feet in any direction of your choice, but the orientation of your ship does not change.
So you can basically do a barrel roll, essentially. You can move, because of course
out of there.
movement in Starship combat is a little bit different than standard movement in D&D, or just even in Star Wars 5e, because depending on the size of your ship, you have to move a certain amount before you're allowed to change the orientation of your ship. So if you're traveling towards the west and you want to turn to the right, for instance, you might have to move 100 feet in one direction before you're allowed to make a 90-degree turn and head towards the north. How much of that I'm actually going to remember on the day is yet to be seen. We're going to be playing a little bit loosey-goosey, but I want to keep it as close to the rules as we can. So look, there we go. There's my
down
fantastic
and highlighted it.
Great.
That's
awesome.
why you should be a captain. See.
See, that's the next thing that we're going to have to sort of figure out. Who is the captain?
Not.
It's my ship.
It's your ship. You are the captain. That's what I was thinking as well. So we have a brave captain who's going to be
not brave,
calling the shots. I
will be taking a 70-30 cut, and bar works for free.
70-30 cut. You okay with that?
Let's be really, really honest with ourselves. We have a squishy cinnamon roll, a person who's supposed to be good at attacking people, but is really just a massive nerd, who is really ruling the ship. I think the Sith is actually ruling the ship, and we're just his puppets. We're just here because I drive the ship and you fix the ship. Let's be really honest.
Yeah, we're his
and
transport.
What could we say about it? Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. If he wanted to, he could crush us against the wall.
There has to be this feeling, with what you know about the Sith, and this adventure is set in sort of the same time period as Episode 4, A New Hope, as you guys are going to find out. So, I mean, knowledge of the Sith is out there, and they're sort of spoken about a bit like they're the boogeyman. So you guys are traveling on this pressurized container with, what what has to feel like a, armed hand grenade. There's got to be some tension there.
I think that kind of adds to my character's blasé attitude towards paying off his debts, because I'm like, well, come get me, man, because if you catch me, I'll let this out of the box and we'll see how you go. So I think, like, yeah, there is a fear of this Sith, but I'm optimistically trying to use it towards my advantage to better my financial situation. So if I stay on his good side and keep giving him, like, feeding the beast, I guess you could say,
that is amazing. I can already picture this crew. I can picture this TV show. Disney, make it happen. Cancel all your other TV shows and make this one happen. Because,
cancel the Kardashians.
Cancel the Kardashians. If you can cancel anything.
We don't.
Yeah, that's probably one of my first picks.
Just let me see what happens with Pete Davidson first. I'm just
yes.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If Disney makes this TV show, they can cast Pete Davidson as Volt. How's that sound?
Oh, that works.
I think it works pretty perfectly.
You just need a little bit more muscle, all the tattoos. That's great.
Brilliant. All right. At that, guys, let's go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start talking about the star of the show. That is the ship that you guys are going to be piloting, the Reckless, the namesake of the stream. We're going to be gone maybe 5 minutes or so, and we'll be back. If you're watching this live, please stick with us. If you're watching back on YouTube or listening on Spotify, if I put it on Spotify, this break will be much quicker for you because I'll edit it out, lucky you guys. But if you're watching live, please stick with us, and we'll be right back, and we'll get into the really crunchy part. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you soon. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us. God, I gotta get this damn thing off. Oh, I can't breathe in that thing, and I can't see anything. Thank you guys for sticking with us through that short break. We were just discussing what we have coming up next. Now, one thing that I really love about sci-fi, and especially space-based sci-fi movies and shows and all that kind of stuff, is this sort of unique aspect where the ship that the heroes pilot and captain and all that kind of stuff becomes a character in and of itself. You think of any good space-based sci-fi property, and you can probably name a spaceship that sort of has, in one way or another, become one of the characters. Obviously you have the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. You have the Enterprise from Star Trek. You have Serenity from Firefly. You have Battlestar Galactica from Battlestar Galactica. So, a Star Wars adventure needs to have a starship, and that starship needs to become a character in and of itself. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit down, and I'm going to let the crew decide how they're going to want to make this starship. Like, come up with the character, the flavor, the characteristics, as well as the mechanics of this starship. Now, I have never played Star Wars 5th edition before, let alone DM'd it. This is all new to me, so bear with me as we go through it. I've made up a little cheat sheet that I have over here to help me, roll through it step by step. And we're going to write that stuff down. And by the time we come back on the 10th of June, hopefully we'll have a fully fleshed out character of a ship. So, we've already figured out our roles on the ship. We've figured out who the captain is. So let's figure out the traits of the Reckless. Starting with, so I've already decided for you guys that it's going to be a medium ship, It's going to be a tier 1 ship, and it is already titled the Reckless. So we've got that stuff out of the way. We've gone over the deployments already. So the first thing that we need to figure out is we need to decide the role of the ship. So you have a couple of options. It can be a courier, a freighter, a gunboat, a missile boat, a navigator, or a yacht. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, I think we all know it's going to be a smuggling ship.
It is.
So
Well, what better way to smuggle than on an intergalactic space yacht?
I was gonna say, yes.
Exactly. So inconspicuous. No
Not
one will ever
only
know.
can you smuggle, you can also entertain dignitaries on your time off.
And
I'm
then steal all their money.
yeah. Well, that's true. I'm happy with it being a freighter. Are you guys happy with it being a freighter?
Yeah,
Plenty of space
so.
for smuggling. It's got more constitution, which means our hull and our hull strength will be more. Our
As long
hull
as it
points
has a
will
gun
be
on
more.
it.
Oh, it'll have a gun, mate. It'll have a gun. So our hull points will equal 8 plus our ship's constitution modifier, and we'll get a +1 in constitution.
So yeah, as a freighter, you get extra hull points, and it also comes back down the line as well when calculating your shield points. So it's a modifier for your hull as well as your shield. So is everyone happy with that, or are there other options people want to explore?
The only thing I'm concerned about is the speed. Is it because it's a freighter, it's a much larger vehicle, and I'm just thinking if we need to get out of somewhere in a pinch, because obviously the way this is going, I think it's been determined for us that we're going to be doing some pretty illegal shit.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'm just concerned as the pilot that we won't be able to get
Some
out of
speed.
things quick enough if we've got this big hulky thing that's designed to carry heavy things for long distances rather than something that's a bit more, streamlined. That's sort of designed to
like a courier.
Exactly. It's just, I feel like we need that perfect balance of, a little bit of agility, a little bit of speed, but also a really good con. As I think we're going to get into trouble if we've got something big that I can't maneuver easily, especially because my character is not strong.
If we're number one
she's a
smugglers, we should possibly have a fast ship.
So, I'll tell you what, I can put down freighter and I can put down courier. I'll put both of them down, and once we have fleshed out a bit more of the mechanics, we can come back and make a decision. Does that sound cool with everyone? But
Yep.
one of those two is what we're looking at, a freighter or a courier?
Yeah.
Alright, so freighter.
With movement speed as well, part of the mechanics ability, I can channel and redirect power to make us faster in a pinch if we need to be. But I do, I would be happy with a courier or a freighter. I don't mind.
And I believe I believe your dexterity actually influences your ship's armor class more so than it actually does your ship's speed, because I think your speed comes down to the size of the ship as well as some of the modifications that you have added to it. So I think that's the big determining factor of the ship. So keep that in mind when we get a little bit further down. We can still add modifications that's going to make your ship faster or maneuver a little bit better. Everyone,
Well, you know what? In that case, let's just go the freighter, and then we can just fit it out.
Yeah, everyone happy with that? Or
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Because we can mod it to be faster.
okay, all right, sweet.
Yeah.
'Cause I think if we have the constitution, we can spend less on armor upgrades and more on speed upgrades. We'll give old big boy a gun, and then all
He'll be
will
happy.
be well.
Yeah, as long as he's got a gun in his hand and something to fire it at, he's happy. Alrighty, so we have a freighter, and look, even though we're making these decisions now, these are not locked in. We can always come back and make changes as we need to make changes if we learn something new, especially about the rules. Because, like I said, it's my first time too, so be gentle. All right, so the second thing that I have written down here is we need to determine our base stat blocks. Now, the way you do this is just with the standard array, which was the same as what you use for D&D. So you have 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8 for you guys to distribute to the various abilities as you wish. And then on top of that, because it's a tier 1 ship, you also get +2 for you guys to add wherever you want it. So we'll just write them all down now. So we'll go intelligence, charisma, wisdom, con, strength, and dex. Where would you guys like to, or how would you like to distribute those stats?
Is there somewhere we can look at where we know what strength does to the ship, where dex does what dex does to the ship, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's a little bit sort of all over the place.
Okay.
I can tell you a couple of the basics. So your constitution is going to add to your hull points as well as your shield points. So it's going to make your ship more durable. Your dexterity is going to increase maneuverability and increase your armor class. Your strength is going to add to, I believe, the damage that you cause. Your intelligence is added to whenever someone makes an attack or uses ship's systems to do things. Not entirely sure about wisdom and charisma. I'm not sure which one is which, but I'm pretty sure one of them is tied to like the ship scanners. I believe that's wisdom. I'd have to double check what really charisma sort of governs.
Yeah, because
Stat.
we really need our ship to be like very charismatic. We so want it to seduce the dragon really badly.
100%.
I think charisma
to seduce the dragon
might have something to do if you're maybe making contact with other ships and like open frequency type things. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it has to do with. I'd have to double check though. Using ability scores. All right, here we go. All right, so
I've just found the Millennium Falcon.
Here we go. I can give you
top scores.
I'll give you a better idea. So strength, measuring the output of the ship's reactor. Dexterity, measuring the maneuverability of the ship. Constitution, measuring the durability of the ship's hull. Intelligence, measuring the ship's processing, targeting, and data storage. Wisdom is measuring the ship's sensor capabilities and awareness, and charisma is measuring the ship's prestige and electronic communications power and ability. So if you want a fast ship, I actually think you need to think about strength. I think strength is what's going to determine a little bit
output of the ship's reactor. That is how much power the mechanic can deviate to other sections of the ship. So you have a certain amount of reactor points, I guess. I think was what I read. And if our strength is low, we won't have many, so we won't be able to do very many things with our ship if our strength is low for the reactor. So
the reactor also gives me goes towards my power dice as a gunner, which adds like bonuses to when we attack other ships.
Well, there you go.
I like strength, dex, and con.
Strength, dex, and con.
Yes.
But do keep in mind as well, intelligence is your ship's processing and targeting. So having a high intelligence means you're going to hit more often.
This is hard, Sven.
I mean, okay.
It's hard for you.
How about here's I reckon. So here we go. Okay. So I reckon as you said, strength is really important. So we put the 15 in strength. And then we put the 12 in intelligence, but add a +2 to it. That way we've got a high intelligence. And then we'll put the 14, hang on, I'm confusing myself. Okay, so the 15 is going to go into strength, just an idea. We can put the 12 in intelligence, but add the +2. And then we can put the 14 into our dex. That way we've got a nice high dex. And then the 13 into our con. And then the...
Which we get a +1 on because we were afraid of.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be 14.
That way we've got that. And then I reckon we put our 10 into our wisdom and our 8 into our charisma, because let's be honest, we're a smuggling ship. How often are we going to be communicating with people? Like,
Yeah.
And if we are, it's going to be a
Jamming.
Yeah.
I feel like this ship is going to be is just going to look like a junker from the outside, and it's probably going to be an absolute mess on the inside. Just
The Millennium Falcon. That's literally what it's got in hand.
Flickering
It was
lights
Exactly
and-
what you said, Grace.
Yeah.
wires just running across the floor and all this kind of stuff. That's what I sort of think when I think about a low charisma ship. And when you look at it from the outside, there's maybe like plasma scoring on the side. It's just not much to look at. Maybe
Oil
doesn't have
stains all over it.
oil stains. Maybe doesn't have the best reputation out there. You know. I dig it. Is everyone happy with that?
Sure am.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're sitting at a 14 for intelligence, an 8 for charisma, a 10 for wisdom, a 13 for con. Oh wait, no, our con goes up, so it's
14.
going to be a 14.
Yep.
And then 15 for strength and 14 for dex.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, that went well. All right. Next thing we need to do is we need to roll some dice. I didn't do this for you guys because I wanted you to do it. So we need to determine both our hull die and our shield dice. So it works very similarly to how you roll for characters' hit points in classic D&D 5th edition. So you're going to start with the hull dice. You're gonna have as a base 8 plus your Constitution modifier. So it's going to be 8 plus. So you got a 14 on that. So 10 to start off with. And now I need someone to roll some dice. Who wants to roll some dice?
Go on, Grace.
Grace, the pilot.
Me.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
me?
Have you got some dice handy?
Why me?
And those are going to be D8.
Ladies
Can you
first.
give me a hot second? I will go and grab my dice. Just
Okay. Oh, you can use. All right. No problem.
I've got a new Call of Cthulhu set of dice that I just got in a couple of days ago.
Oh man,
You need to use
got
it.
it.
I want to play Cthulhu, but I don't want to be a keeper.
Yeah, man.
'Cause mate,
It's hard to get the nuance of the scariness down.
I can
I
do it
think
sometimes, but other
this
times I
one-
can't. All right,
Yeah.
so we need a
Shiny. See?
D8.
We need D8s.
We need D8, so we need 5 of them.
5. Okay, I can do that. I can do this. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I promise I can count.
They're
I
not
believe you.
the scores that you rolled.
5D8. That is a 1, a 2, a 3.
I have 4 of them, but I will just roll them all.
Yes, I'm leaving this up to the dice to decide.
We could be driving a McLaren, or we could be driving a Vista Cruiser.
It's the galactic version of a VE Commodore.
Oh, I am rolling so well.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Okay.
That's what we want to hear.
So,
I thought it was the opposite based on your reaction. I was like, she didn't. She didn't.
Well, that's why I didn't
Yeah,
want to
all
roll
ones.
for you, because
All
first of all, I would roll all ones, and I also don't want to be blamed for more stuff.
I just want to see what I would have
So
gotten.
I got a 3, a 4, an 8, a 7, an 8, a 7, a 5, and a 5.
Yours is way better than mine.
Yeah.
I'll put my dice back.
Wait,
we'll keep rolling yours.
Sorry, say that again. What did you roll?
It was 5
So,
rolls.
5. We need 5.
A 4. 5.
We need 5. Yeah, we need 5d8.
5 of 8.
5d8. So we just not
Oh.
5 of those. We only need 5 dice to be rolled, and we need the total sum of that. So
just pick the highest ones.
go through those numbers again. I think it was a 3, a 4, an 8, a 7, and an 8.
A 5 and a 5.
All right, so we'll just
So
cut.
3, a 4, an 8,
Yeah.
a 7.
We're
an
just
8,
cutting off
a
the
7,
5 and
a
the
5.
5.
3, 4, 8, 7, 8. There you go.
3, 4, 8,
That's
7,
pretty good.
8. Now I need to bring up a calculator and calculate that because I.
3,
am not
4,
going to do that.
8,
Here we
7,
go. Here goes teacher.
8.
27,
not understanding.
32.
32. All right, so 32 and plus your Constitution modifier, which is 2 times 5, so 10. So we have a total of 52 hull points.
That's some good hull points.
All right, who wants to roll for our shield dice? Exactly the same thing. So we're going to start off with 10.
Not me.
Get the Cthulhu out. Get the Cthulhu dice out, Mustard.
Alright.
Go get it.
Save me from the math, please.
I'll do the maths, you roll the dice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Here we go. Alright. What am I rolling?
D8 5 times, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. A D8
Okay.
5 times.
Not going to come in real well. Nah.
Nice. I'll send me a photo. I'll chuck it up on the Facebook page.
Ah, yeah, it's good. So it's a 4, a 7,
All 8s? Wow.
a 2, a 3, and a 6.
So 4, 7, 2, 3, 6.
22 total.
22. Thank you, Mr. Aaron. And that's with 10 added on top of it again, I believe. Yes, so in total we have 42 shield points. Fantastic. So we have our shield points, we have our hull points sorted out. The next
So-
thing...
Shield points is what they have to get through before they get our hull points, right?
Correct. And your shield points regenerate every turn as well. And the amount that they regenerate depends on, modifications and all that kind of stuff that you have.
One of the ability scores we didn't pick well in.
It's probably to do with your charisma. That's
That's
cool. So far, so good.
All right, so we have hull dice, we have shield dice. The next thing I have written in my notes is we need to. We don't need to really do all of this right now. This is something that you guys can look over during the week. But we need to determine what modifications you have added to your ship. Now,
Yeah.
I spoke to someone and their suggestion was I originally was going to give you guys an amount of credits that you could spend on modifications just to sort of, keep it, so that you don't just trick your ship out with neon lights and hydraulic suspension and come bouncing down the street like 50 Cent or something like that.
Yep.
Or you rock up with thermonuclear warheads or something. But I'm just
Money
I'm gonna
on
leave it up to you
speakers.
guys a bit to just tell me what you want for modifications. But I will restrict the grades of your modification to 0 or 1.
Okay.
And your maximum suites, so that is barracks and all that kind of stuff that you can have in your ship, is equal to the 3 plus your Constitution modifier. I don't think that's going to matter because as a medium ship, you already have a barracks on your ship, which is more than enough to accommodate the 3 of you. So unless you want to have luxury suites or something as well, it's not going to matter.
No. We've also got a storage compartment, it said, for having a freighter. And our cargo bay is increased by 50 tons, so that suite is already available for us too.
All right, so you already have that. So Your base capacity for suites is 30. Now, as far as or base capacity for modifications, rather, is 30. Now, the way that I understand it is that every modification is, the value of it is 1. So you could technically have 30 modifications, apparently. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide if you want to use all 30 or not. But that's what.
Make it hard for Sven. Let's get all 30.
But you've already.
Yeah.
You just making it harder for yourself. You're the one that has to fly the ship, not me. But you already have -4 from the stock modifications that you had. So you had the hyperdrive slot, you have the barracks that I talked about, and you have living quarters or luxury suite. So I guess you have to decide if you want living quarters or a luxury suite.
We ain't luxury up in here.
All right, so
I'm happy with just living.
Living quarters. I'll get rid of luxury suite. So yeah, so you've already got 20. So you've still got 26 that you can choose from.
Okay.
So are there any modifications that you guys had already looked at that you go, yeah, I want that, or?
Still looking at some of the Millennium Falcon stuff. As an example, the ships it's got 2 cannons, but it says where they're situated on the ship, you need to spend some of those points to make the cannons 360-degree shooting. So it's got Millennium Falcon, it's got dorsal and ventral cannons. We can add 2 fixed hard points, which makes the turrets fly in a 360-degree arc. So that gives 2 modifications.
I think, we should have 1 cannon because you're the only one that's going to be on it, but it should be tricked the fuck out.
Yeah, I reckon.
Because, I will not be on a cannon and Grace will be flying the ship. So, let's start with that. Let's start with the weapon.
The big boy, the firepower.
We should call it that, the big boy on the Reckless.
The big boy.
Here you go. You can get a slave array for the guns, so you can fire one of the weapons from the cockpit.
Yes, because I have a good dex, so this would be great, especially because I can light things on fire spontaneously, and I feel like a ship on fire probably is not good for that ship that's on fire.
So, forward-facing cannon in Grace's control with the slave modification?
Yeah, it's a nav computer modification, which allows you to use one of the turrets from the cockpit.
Yep, and then one for yourself.
Yep.
Broadside hard points? Is that what you're looking at? What's it
Okay,
called?
so
The gun?
someone in the chat,
Turret hard point,
Modbrew has just suggested that we should actually get a droid and get a second cannon. I feel like this is a thing.
I feel like Modbrew is just trying to mess with me.
If we get a droid, we have to call it Modbrew.
Thank you, Modbrew.
Yes.
Modbrew D2.
Absolutely.
Let's call it that.
Modbrew
Modbrew D2.
Modbrew is now going to be included in Reckless as a droid. You can absolutely bet your ass that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're not an Astromech droid. We get let's make him one of those wheelie ones that have the cone on their head.
I'll make him something good.
Make him one of those.
All right, I just wrote that on my notes.
This
Modbrew is a droid.
I'd like this to happen.
It is. It's happening. Absolutely.
It's done.
Yeah.
We have a 4th crew member.
I kind of feel like I want to bring Mod on board to cameo as the droid now.
Modbrew D2 execute
Modbrew
order
D2.
66.
Yeah.
All right, so awesome. Back to modification. Well, it doesn't have to be a British voice, Modbrew. It can be any voice you want. It's a droid. You can even just make beeping sounds if you want to make beeping sounds.
You should start a droid revolution.
Yes.
Accidentally eject the crew into space and take over the ship for yourself.
Please don't do that.
Eject
Us left of the life forms, our flesh baskets.
Eject the organic meat bags out the.
Yeah.
All right, so we've sort of looked at a couple of fixed hard points, a slave array. I think we have to choose what kind of weapons we want to attach to the hard points as well as the slave array. Is that it?
Yeah. what are you going to put on the turret hardpoint?
Let's scroll down.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's look at.
So I think you have to have the fixed. You have fixed hardpoint, and then you upgrade them with the turret hardpoint. Is that right?
I think
Yeah,
that's
so
correct.
each fixed hard point can have a weapon on it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it needs to be upgraded to make it into a 360-degree turret, I believe.
Yep. Okay, so I reckon we have one forward-facing attached to the slave array that Grace controls, and then the turret hardpoint that's 360 for Bar. So he can just... Have you ever done that in a game where you're just like controlling the cannon and you just like you got the shits or something, so you just fire and go around in 360?
Yeah.
Just a light show.
Absolutely. Yep.
All the time.
I used to play Halo with a lot of friends back in the days when we used split screen, and his girlfriend joined in. And back in the day, she was not much of a gamer. She's a bit better now, but you could always tell which Master Chief was her, because there'd be one Master Chief standing in the corner just pirouetting in circles, looking up.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Or they couldn't.
Right.
She couldn't get like aiming and moving at the same time. So it was
Yeah.
like aim.
So it'd be moving forward and then turn and then
It was too easy to target.
That's kind of cool. An encrypted computer, that way no one can hack us, but I don't really think we have anything to worry about.
So we actually can
Gunning
get an
Droid.
Astromech Socket. Did you find one?
Let's do it. Yeah, I found a Gunning Droid. Much
Oh.
more than a simple targeting computer, a specialized droid brain can be installed on a ship to operate its weapons independently or assist as a sentient gunner. Although, and we can just like it just like you insert the.
Commands.
It's like a brain.
Does that mean I get
Yeah.
to roleplay your ship's gunning computer?
Yes,
Mod brew.
you do.
The brain.
The brain in the ship. It's like that theory. Have you guys seen that theory that the original dude who owned the Millennium Falcon had this robot, right? And then the robot somehow got into the computer, and the only way Han Solo was able to do that run in 50 parsecs was because that computer was actually steering the ship for him. And there is no way humanly possible that he could have done it without that droid in
Well,
the ship.
Isn't it? Isn't that actually that's in the movie, right? Correct.
It's in the TV show.
What TV show?
Like the Han Solo TV show.
Does it-
on
Oh, the
Disney
movie
Plus.
one.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
canon.
yeah,
Movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's
Yeah,
not a TV show.
that
What are you
one.
talking about?
Yep, thank you. Sorry, I thought it was a TV show. Sorry. Ignore me.
Yeah, it was the one that started the robot revolution on that planet, and yeah, she died, so they uploaded her
Yeah.
onto the ship. Yes.
Hyperdrive. This modification adds a hyperdrive slot to your ship and includes a Class 15 hyperdrive. Do we want hyperdrive?
So you already have a hyperdrive slot, and I will. I'm actually gonna put my DM authority to use here, and I'm gonna say you need a hyperdrive in order for this to work out.
Okay. Well, we have a slot, so we need a hyperdrive, do we?
Yes. Yep. But what hyperdrive you get, I'm going to leave it up to you, because I think there's something that you can choose from.
That's in
Let's
engineering,
get the
right?
best hyperdrive.
Let's find out.
I'm happy to get the best hyperdrive. We want the best hyperdrive. You still looking at those guns there, Mustard?
Website.
I'm looking at hyperdrives at the moment. There's different classes and all sorts of stuff.
Oh my god, there's too many. There's too many for me to be able to wrap my
There's a
head
lot.
around.
Let's go the best one. Type in best hyperdrive.
We'll just type in
Different websites.
hyperdrive.
Are you guys also, if you filter the class modifications from 0 to 0 and 1, that will reduce your list.
This is
Thank you.
true.
That makes sense.
I think there is actually choose shield, Deflection Armor. Oh no, that's other things. Okay. Fuel cell.
Hyperactive hyperdrive. There's a backup hyperdrive.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to choose. So I think you just have a hyperdrive.
I think the slot includes a Class 15 hyperdrive. That's what it says. And includes a Class 15 hyperdrive.
Aha, okay. There you
So
go.
we can have a backup one if we want a backup one. In case our first one breaks. Surely the DM wouldn't break our hyperdrive when he says we need it for the campaign.
Depends on what kind of DM you plan on having.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I did find something really cool though. It's an anti-boarding system. For an anti-boarding system, it's a robust series of blast doors, cameras, and hidden turrets, reinforcing each portal through the starship, as well as any direct outside ship entrances. So it means, like, our ship's impenetrable. If someone attempts to, like, get in, like, only the crew members can get in, and they can only be bypassed by a DC 20 intelligence save. And you need to have a specific kit to get in.
I like that, but the look on Sven's face says...
Oh no, I was thinking about something else entirely. No, it's fine. You get whatever you want.
Yep, let's write it down. Get it. How many of these things do we get?
You already
13.
had 4 of them accounted for, so you had 26 to play with. So I've got written down here, you've got a fixed hard point, and that needs an upgrade to make it a turret. Is that correct?
We wanted 2. We wanted a fixed one at the front, and then a fixed one upgraded to a turret for mustard, which I'm guessing will be dorsal. Like dorsally mounted at the top.
At the top, yeah, I'm assuming so.
And then we wanted... Well, we've got the hyperdrive slot sorted. We wanted the droid, the gunning droid.
You wanted the gunning droid, alright.
Yep, just in case we get boarded and Mustard wants to smash some people.
So that's...
We just have an extra gun. We just have one separate gun for the droid.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Maybe another fixing point.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's do that.
Two, sort of. And then
Oh,
one in
up,
my
port and
cabin.
starboard.
Yeah,
Yep.
sort of. And then we wanted a gun for me.
Yeah, so far we've got the one at the front and the dorsal one that goes all the way around. We can have one on either side for the droid if you want.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, we'll go fixed on both sides and have them port and starboard. And they're
Alright.
attached to the droid array.
Okay.
That's Mod Brew's gunning array, port and starboard.
Port and starboard. So we've got a cannon. Well, we have a weapon on the port. We have a weapon on starboard. We have a forward-facing weapon for Grace, and then we have a turret, which is another one.
Yep.
So now, and we also have a droid. So the droid is another one. Then we have that's it so far. Now we need to choose what type of weapons we are going to put on each sort of hard point that you guys have there. So let's start with the forward-facing weapon, which is the one.
Standard lasers forward-facing and
Grace.
left and right, but you guys are going to be using them, so you pick them.
There's
I reckon
60 to choose from.
Let's nuke them, absolutely. Actually, can we put the anti-boarding thing on there as well? I feel like at some stage someone's going to need to come in, and I really don't want it to be anyone that we don't want on there.
But we could do Millennium Falcon style if you want. Have the 2 turret hard points, and that is quad laser cannons. And then the fixed hard point at the front is a missile launcher loaded with concussion missiles.
There you go. Do you want to fire missiles, Grace?
Always. That's
All
what
right.
I live for.
So we have. Ah, shit! I keep writing this down, and then it changes, and now I run out of place to write things down.
You want a stealth device, guys?
always. Let's do it.
While active, your ship has advantage on dexterity height checks that rely on scans, but your ship has disadvantage on probes and scans, so while we're hidden, we can't scan. Additionally, if you try to enter hyperspace while cloaking, you must roll a hyperspace mishaps thing. The modification allows for us to use stealth, basically, as an action to hide from scanners. I think that's necessary if you're a smuggler.
Important. Yeah.
So stealth device, please.
Pinpointing the ranges of your chosen weapon.
One stealth device. We have one barracks, one living quarters. Alright. Did we decide on the anti-boarding?
We did.
We did. That is a yes.
Anti-boarding. We have the hyperdrive. Of course.
How's your intelligence, Grace, for astro navigation? Mine. Okay.
It's not. That's my dump. Oh no, never mind. No, my intelligence is my good stat. I have a +2.
Okay.
And I've got proficiency on saving throws.
Yep. So it says here there's a nav computer which allows you to gives you proficiency in astro navigation checks. A crew member can use their bonus action and their intelligence check instead of their action to go the right way, basically.
Okay.
Basic nav computer ship is proficient, equipped with intelligence astrogation checks. A crew member can use their bonus action to make their intelligence astrogation check rather than their action. Your ship can still only make one check per round. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I don't even know what an astrogation check is, so I guess I'm going to have to find that out later. But we want a nav computer.
Yep, chuck it in. We don't want to end up in a black hole.
Yeah. That'll be a anticlimactic way to to end the session.
Yeah.
You accidentally jump into a black hole.
If Sven gets the shits with this, he'll just be like, yeah, you're going.
You get spaghettified.
Yeah.
And then the next episode will be about what happens to someone beyond
The black hole.
the black hole. That'll be
We
fun.
need something to boost our speed.
You end up in the material plane.
Yeah, we end up in real life.
Alright, so something to boost your speed. I'm thinking that will be in engineering.
I guess so, but I just put it in and I don't think...
Fuel converter?
Yeah, that might be it.
Over the course of 10 minutes, a crew can make a constitution challenge that covers 1 day's worth of fuel. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm not going to worry about fuel, if I'm going to be absolutely honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not in engineering, perhaps in operation. Oops.
Ooh, there's a harpoon.
Ooh.
It's
Like
not
that.
Power harpoon. As an action, a crewman can make a ship weapon attack with the power harpoon. The harpoon's range is 400 to 1,600 feet. On a hit, a target is harpoon, connecting your ship to the target.
That's
That's
fun.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Alright, so it's not on that.
Ship
What about
slicer.
universal?
Choose a small or smaller ship you can see. The target must make an intelligence save. On a failed save, it's disabled until the start of its next turn. So we can slice a ship clean in half.
Delicious.
That's messed.
I believe
That's
there's S foils that you can choose that can make your ship quicker. But anyway,
I
that's
saw that in weapons.
cryogenic capacitors.
Do we want holding cells, guys? Are we going to take prisoners?
Harry's not going to take prisoners.
No, I don't think you're gonna take position.
Yeah. I need him alive.
Here we go.
Help. I needed him
Um,
alive.
we have Mark 1 thrusters. Improve your ship's thrusters. Your ship's dex score increases by 1. As normal, you can't increase your ship's dex above the maximums for your size with this system. But yeah, there you go.
We would like that.
Alright, so I'm going to Mark 1 thrusters.
Ret tracker and tractor beam. What else? Any of those sound interesting?
Tractor beam.
What is a tractor beam?
I'm
Adds a
glad
tractor beam
you
to the
are.
ship. As an action, you can activate the tractor beam, which has a range of 1,000 feet and a limited firing arc. Each ship within the firing arc must make a strength save. On a failed save, a ship is tracted. As a bonus action, player can move a tractor ship 100 feet in any direction. As an action, the pilot of a tracted ship can repeat the saving throw. If you're attempting to tractor a ship larger than you, fail at 4 success, you can choose to gain the tracted condition. It just means, you can move the ship however you want if you tractor it.
Yep. Put it in.
Put
We
it
got
in.
26 of these things.
Tractor beam.
We must be getting close.
Yeah.
You are at
We're halfway.
11, 15.
We still have
Okay.
9.
Yeah. Oh no, that's total. 15 total. I've included your hyperdrive, barracks, and living quarters in that. So.
Alright.
Actually, I think I might
Look,
be.
put a hydroponics garden in there, because that's going to be my character's hobby. He's going to like to garden in peace.
Self-destruct mechanism.
Oh, you have the.
No, man, that's not happening. It's my ship. No, it's not my ship. I'm just piloting it.
You've gotten attached to the old Reckless.
Cargo bay. Forgot to add that one.
Maybe we like call it joint custody, and you always joke with
Yeah,
me about
I'd
it.
say.
And I'm like, oh, no.
Damage control system.
A bit like Guardians of the Galaxy, where Star-Lord and Rocket are always arguing about whose ship it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my ship. My ship. I feel like I'm Rocket in this
Alright.
instance.
Yes, I think you are a little bit.
We share the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Is there anything else anyone's thinking about, or we good?
I'm pretty good with that.
Pretty good. Again, if there's anything that we think of in the meantime, feel free to shoot it my way. We can add it. But I think that brings us up to 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 points. So you could technically play with another 14 points if you wanted to.
I reckon we save them for when, like, if we
Yeah.
like get Mark II stuff or save up for something to upgrade or whatever.
Ooh.
There
Here we
was
go.
one more
Can
thing.
yeah. You go.
I've played a game of Star Wars 5e before, where we got this special paint that's like the blackest black you can get. So it's literally the blackest black. I reckon we do that, but I'm not sure how many points we need to put in because it's not a technical thing. It's
Okay.
just like you get advantage on stealth since your ship is so black that it blends in with space.
Well-
So literally all you can see is the headlights.
How does the stealth device work? 'Cause I think we sort of already have that.
Yeah, the stealth
More or
device
less.
gives you the ability to hide. It gives advantage on the stealth checks. You can't be tracked by sensors, and sensors can't be used by the ship whilst stealthed.
All right, so I think that's sort of that. Maybe that will come in the whole stealth package. So if someone looks out their port window, you're painted black essentially, so they can't just visually,
One red speed stripe from tip to toe.
No. It's just black.
Speed
It's
stripe.
just a black. No speed stripe. I can just imagine your character painting the speed stripe and
Yeah,
then my character coming along afterwards and just...
Yep.
To answer your question, Mod Brew, this game is completely free. All of the resources are available for free on the internet. Just look up SW5E or Star Wars 5E and everything you need to play the game. It's right there. And that's all the resources that we're looking at right now. So there you go. All right. Now those are the modifications. Bear with us, guys. We have to choose saving throw proficiencies. So, what proficiencies do you want to have for your ship?
Well, we're going to try and knock out our reactor. We don't want our reactor's strength, and we don't want that to fail ever. We can, like, if our sensors fail, we're just flying blind in terms of enemies. I'm thinking strength is one we need.
Yep.
I agree.
How many do we get, Sven?
You can choose of 2. So 2 of your choice. So strength.
Okay. Hear me out on this one, but I think we put a one in a dump stat of ours. Like, I realize that's probably, like, you know, not the biggest deal, but I think one day if something comes along and we really, really need charisma, it's gonna suck, you know? And wouldn't it be great to have just that, just sitting there, just in case, like, it comes along and we really, really need it, because it's at an 8. So if we have proficiency in it, you know, that way everything is covered.
So this is for saving throws. So if someone does something to your ship, it's
never mind
how much you can resist.
I reckon we should put it on intelligence, because that's our targeting. And if we're unable to target, we can't damage other ships, and we're a floating bucket waiting to be destroyed.
Good choice.
So I like intelligence.
All right. So everyone happy with that? Strength and intelligence for saving throws, proficiencies.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Starting equipment. We'll barrel through this. It's 11 o'clock. So your choice of deflection armor, lightweight armor, or reinforced armor. I can probably bring up what that is. Deflection armor is just common type of armor. Lightweight armor, you get a trade-off. You're more maneuverable, so you get a +1 bonus to armor class, but you have 1 fewer hull points per die. 1 fewer hull point die, so we'd have to take away one of those dice.
Depends which one you take away, I guess.
I'll just take away the last one, so that'll be
Ooh, no,
7.
don't do
that. Okay. Or then you have
down to 45.
reinforced armor. So opposite of lightweight armor, it adds an extra hull die, but you have a -1 penalty to your AC.
You want to just keep deflection armor, leave it as is?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm happy with it, I think.
Deflection armor.
The directional shield, I believe, you have to move to the area that is being attacked, whereas fortress shield covers 2.
Alright, so let's go on to the next thing. So your choice of a fuel cell reactor. Did I skip over shields?
Oh, shields is in the same one there.
It's in the same one. Directional fortress or quick charge shields.
Fortress shields regenerate slower. Directional shields are most common. Or there's quick charge, which is expensive.
They charge quicker, but they don't have as much capacity.
Yep. I reckon just directional.
Directional shields. Yep, that sounds good for me because it's the easiest one. Directional shields. Everyone happy with that?
Yep.
Hooray. Okay. Ship power. Did I do... Yes, reactors. So we have to choose a reactor. So ship's power at tier 1, it's a D4. So reactor, we have to choose a reactor. So you have the choice of an ionization reactor, a power core reactor, or a fuel cell reactor. Fuel cell reactors are the most common balanced. Ionization reactor is fuel efficient with trade out with power output. I wouldn't worry about fuel economy. So I'd power core or fuel cell reactor.
Power core reactor enables us to get 1d2 power dice back at the start of our turn, but the trade-off is the cost modifier, which I guess would only be a problem if it's damaged enough to be broken.
Yep.
We just do that. I mean, this is like leading more into your area now, so like whatever is sort of gonna like, you know,
well, I think the more power die we have, the more stuff we can do. So I reckon power core reactor is going to be the one to go for.
All right.
Let's do it.
Because that will allow like a redirection of power to occur, which will make us faster, which will let us fire off more times, which will increase our shields and things like that.
Power core reactor. Your choice of direct power coupling, distributed power coupling, or hub and spoke power coupling. Let's have a look. So direct power coupling has a central power capacitor that feeds directly to each system. Distributed power coupling sacrifices flexibility by allocating power separately to each system. And a hub and spoke coupling system combines attributes of both systems, providing some flexibility.
Just go the direct.
So
just get the simple one, the direct one, yeah.
Direct.
Yeah, so that's just a straight line, which I think it means we can't cut off power to areas that may be damaged or anything like that, or redistribute power to make the starboard shield stronger than the port shield or whatever, but it just gives an even power flow through the whole ship, which I think is just, for us, easy to manage, for Sven, easy to manage, and
absolutely. All right. Now, what else I have written down here? Weapons is when it starts to get a little bit interesting. So we'll probably have a look at that at another point. So our dexterity is going to be 10. Sorry, our AC will be 10 plus dex plus additional modifications. Oh, that's why I moved that down there, because it affects your AC. So 10 plus your dexterity, which is 14. Plus, did we have any additional modifications that would change that?
not to AC that I remember.
Alright, so have a quick look at what we have. Nav computer, thrusters. So I think thrusters actually added a +1 to your AC.
Oh, thrusters, did they?
I believe they do. I believe they impact your dexterity in some way or another. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We got deflection armor.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
And you have deflection armor. Alright, well there's deflection armor again.
We're going to need like credits and stuff for fuel, or we're not going to worry about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry. We're just going to skip over
Docking fees?
that. Yeah.
We ain't docking in places that need fees. Free parking only.
Yeah. Can you send a photo of this to us so I can like write it up all pretty? And highlight it and make color.
Yeah, once I sort of figure it out, I'll fill in a proper sheet for you guys and send it through to you guys so you have it as well. Or unless someone wants to do that for me, if you've written all this stuff down to save me a little bit of time, I'll allow you to do it.
No.
So we directional shields and deflection armor.
Ooh. I'm looking at freighters now on to see what it can look like.
Okay. Right. So AC is 14. So we'll just add the +1 there. What else did I write down? Modifications. Nothing from modifications. So 15. I believe. And then you have Your power die, we've already chosen that. We've already chosen power coupling. Alright, I think that's pretty much everything that we need to cover for the time being. I'll let you guys choose what kind of weapons you want to have on your ship, because there's a lot to choose from. Unless you had something in mind already.
Yeah, do we want to go with the Millennium Falcon style, which is the quad laser cannons on the two separate ones for myself and the robot, and then the was it missile launcher at the front with concussion missiles.
Happy with that.
Sounds good.
Alright.
You said concussion. That sold me.
Concussion missiles, brackets, and quad laser cannons. Alright, I think that pretty much rounds us out. So it was a medium freighter, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any like a picture or something that you could share with us or something like that?
I've just found one that is so good. I'm actually going to show you with my camera because it's not.
All right.
The main question we need to know is how quickly it can make the Kessel run.
Medium freighter. Yeah, that's the one from the Old Republic, if I'm not mistaken.
The Old
I like
Republic.
it.
Oh, Star Wars. Knights of the Old Republic. I think.
Yep.
It's similar to that.
Yep.
I just
freighter.
like the bulkhead. I think that's cool.
It is a really cool design. It's like an old school version of the Millennium Falcon. So I got a couple up here as well.
What do we got? That's the top runner for me. Because I'm not finding very much that I enjoy.
Let me know if you see anything that stands out to you. But are we looking at this guy right here?
Let me look. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's her right there. All right, fantastic.
Happy little orange friend.
Let's
That's
have a
reckless,
little.
but in black.
But completely black with a red racing stripe.
Yeah, does it come in black?
Covering.
Yeah.
A freighted barge or
100%.
cargo ship was the term given to any spacecraft that was used to transport freight.
I think it's called XS Stock Light Freighter is what it's called.
There we go. XS Stock Light Freighter. I love it. I love it. It's not the one that I was thinking of, but it's. I think it suits your purpose perfectly.
It is freaking sexy. I love it.
It is.
Good choice, Grace.
It's like a more chunky, industrialized version of the Millennium
The
Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
I like I found one with the interior in it as well. And I
Ooh.
feel like just the interior looks really cool. I'll send it to our crew
Send that to our
chat.
Discord, yeah.
The Reckless
Yeah, I'll
Emu.
send it to-
XS
Yeah, I'll send it to the
Stock
thing.
Light Freighter.
Yeah, if you look that up, there's like a picture with the
Ooh.
actual interior in it so that
Look
you
at
can
that.
see how the ship's laid out.
Oh, brilliant! Yep, there it is.
I'm going to have to get a Lego set of this now.
Look at that.
Thanks
It has a full battle map available for it. Too bad you guys have an anti-boarding system. Otherwise, that could be brilliant.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, bro. Hey, look,
thought
there are
of that.
ways to...
Thought it-
You can bypass it. You
Yeah,
can
nobody
bypass
gets aboard the Reckless Emu.
Look at that.
Yeah, the Reckless Emu.
That
I
is
like
that's your ship, guys. That is the Reckless.
Excellent.
That is amazing. That is
Roll
my ship.
credits.
That's his ship.
Our ship.
All
My
right.
ship.
See, it's already begun.
Our ship. Say
There's a
with me.
deconstructed view of it, man. That's pretty cool. Like, there's a deconstructed view of it as well.
Well, I
in-
just think it's really good looking. Like,
yeah.
it's got that Millennium Falcon sort of look, but it also looks rather intimidating, and it looks like a transformer, which
Yep.
is what I like.
Yes, that's
I
his,
enjoy it.
That's
I
very
enjoy
cool.
it. It's good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
look,
can see
it's-
Michael's cannon at the top there. I can see
That's right.
Grace's little pod at the front. And my spot is everywhere else.
and I can
Yeah.
see Mod Brew the droid rolling around the
Yeah.
Hell
through the halls of the ship.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Blast.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that pretty much covers everything that we need to cover and brings us to the end of tonight's stream.
Excellent.
It's been an
Been
absolute
real.
blast. Yeah, I'm extremely excited for this Friday. Before we go, I do want to remind everyone that we usually have another episode of Out of the Abyss coming out fortnightly every second Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, featuring the always lovely Grace, as well as Mark Hillman, Rami, and Toby. It is an absolutely brutal campaign. I'm a terrible DM, but they're good sports and they stuck with me.
You are not a terrible DM. Anyone who lets me pile drive goblins is up there.
And of course, Aaron, what do you got coming up, man? At Valiant Odyssey.
Mondays we have our regular D&D Valiant Odyssey podcast episodes dropping, usually at about 10 p.m. anywhere you find good podcasts. And on Thursdays we have the Wasonia Files, featuring the wonderful and beautiful and amazing Sven from Crit Miss Gaming, and also a couple other people from D&D Valiant Odyssey that you might like too. And me, your DM of Wasonia Files and D&D Valiant Odyssey. So that's what we have. Mondays and Thursdays are our big days at the Odyssey. So catch us on our Discord or catch us wherever.
It's been
so
usually
much hanging
fun.
out with Sven. That's what we're doing lately.
It's been so much fun. I look forward to Thursday now. Maybe even a little bit more than Saturday morning, because I know I'm just going to get woken up at 6:30 in the morning anyway. So Thursdays are great. I'm loving being a player, and it's such a reactive and living world where I don't just have to get in combat. I can do other things like selling alcohol to underage girls who subsequently
they were Elven, so technically they were over.
Oh, they were overage. Oh, that's right. That's fine then. As long as they were over. As long as they were
They
over
just
18.
didn't get it.
Spoilers. But yeah, heaps of fun. So make sure you check that out. Michael, what do you got going on? You got anything you want to let the people know?
What? Not necessarily. Part of the obviously Valiant Odyssey crew. We've got some of our next sessions coming up. It'll probably be a few weeks before you hear anything further from myself in the Valiant Odyssey series. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you very much, guys, for agreeing to be a part of this crazy experiment as I run my very first Star Wars 5e adventure. I, for one, am extremely excited for next Friday, even if I'm also, nervous a little bit about it.
Nah, we'll hold each other's hand. It'll be great.
We'll just we'll play a little bit loose with the rules. We're gonna have a good time. I've got a fun little story, and we'll see how it pans out. But thank you very much, guys, for joining us. For those who stuck with us, if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, I appreciate your help. Make sure you jump on our Twitch channel. That is twitch.tv/crit_n_miss. You can check us out on Facebook as well, or join us on Discord and get involved. Do the same thing with Valiant Odyssey. Give them a like, a follow, a subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you also check out Among Mates D&D with Mod Brew, because he's always doing some
Mod Brew D2.
wacky stuff. And we'll see you all on Friday night, guys. Have a good night.